Hey guys, I'm back. I'm Deja from Deja Druid, and I was sitting outside today with my son, and I had a little revelation, so I just wanted to share it. And it took me like 30 minutes to set up this camera and get my notes ready, so that's why it takes me forever to make these videos, and that's why I don't come back very often. It just takes time to make videos. But okay, so yesterday my son had a soccer class that I took him to. And during his soccer class, it's outside in the park. So I like to listen to the Bible on my app. And I read this verse again. I've read it many times, but yesterday it kind of stuck with me. So I did a little research and just to see like what other people think the meaning behind it is, like to understand it better. And the verse is Mark 4:24. And it says, "Then he said to them," which is Jesus, "Take heed what you hear. With the same measure you use, it will be measured to you. And to you who hear, more will be given. For whoever has, to him more will be given. But whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken away from him." So I was like curious, what is he talking about? Because it says, whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken away. And so in my mind, I'm like, well, if he doesn't have it, how can it be taken away? So I just, I looked it up. Again, there could be multiple meanings. And of course, not everyone's going to agree. This is kind of just like my opinion and just what came to me. He's talking about the ability to hear and understand God. And because before this, he was talking about the parable of the sower, where the sower sows his seed, but not everyone is able to be prosperous and fruitful from it. And then they were asking him, what does this parable mean? And so he had to explain it. And in essence, he's saying, for those who have the ear to hear God's messages, more will be given to them. And for those who don't have the ear, whatever they receive will be taken away. Kind of like the sower, where he's talking about people who hear about Jesus, only few are actually going to understand it and bear fruit from it. Many others, he explains, where some of them will hear the word, but Satan will come in and take it away. Others will be distracted by problems and challenges, and so they're going to forget about the word and they're going to go back to worrying about their problems. So this kind of really made me think how Jesus spoke in parables, which I personally love. And the fact that he's saying, the reason I speak in parables is because some of you will understand and some of you will not. And that is because that gift has been given to them. And I believe that that gift is given to those who truly seek with their heart. And what are they seeking? They're seeking the truth. And who is the truth? Jesus is the truth, the way, and the life. That was my big revelation, and I'm sure maybe many people already know that, but when you seek truth, you're actually seeking Jesus, and when you seek him, he gives you the ears to hear and to translate and understand the things that he shows you. What made me also realize was that in today's life, God speaks to us in parables, in signs, in symbols, in repetitions that an outsider, a non-believer, would just see it as another sign, another license plate, another animal that runs by. Like they just don't, it doesn't mean anything to them. But when you're constantly seeking God and his will and any direction that he may have for you, you're going to see everyday things in a different way. You're going to notice the patterns. You're going to notice the repetitions and the weird anomalies, and you're going to question. You're going to obviously go, wait a minute, that's kind of weird. And immediately your thought is going to be, God, are you trying to tell me something? Or is this like a random event or random occurrence? And to me, this is in a way a parable. Like God speaks to you in this weird, mysterious way. And I've always loved mysteries. And to me, this is the most exciting thing. Yes, it would be cool if God just spoke to us with an audible voice, or it was just so blatantly obvious. And I've always wondered why he doesn't speak to us like that. But I think a lot of people would take that for granted, just like we don't listen to our parents no matter how many times they tell us things. God really makes it something that we have to earn, that we have to seek on a regular basis. It's like a privilege to get any sort of guidance from God, any kind of answers from him. And only those who seek it will get it. I just thought that was so cool. Another thing that happened, well, there's been a bunch of things happening. God has been showing me a lot of things kind of coming together. It's not something I am ready to like share publicly, but he's showing me things that are coming that those are the things I've kind of been focusing on and praying about and preparing myself for. But I'm really hoping I get to share it publicly soon. When I was at my son's soccer class yesterday, I want to explain to you the weird thing that happened with this whole soccer class. So we homeschooled through like a charter school. So the charter school will pay, they give you school funds and they pay for, supplies and activities and classes for your kids. And my son turned 11, so he outgrew his previous soccer class, which was right here in town, 5 minutes away. We love them. We've been there for years. But he's now one of the oldest, biggest kids in class, and it's just not fun for him to outrun the 5-year-olds. And so we were looking for an older group of, an older soccer class that he can join. And we couldn't find anything in town or anything in our entire county that the school will pay for. And I just did not want to pay out of pocket hundreds of dollars a month for something that our school won't cover, even though it's in town. So I'm literally driving an hour a week for a soccer class because it's free, basically, because the school paid for it. And it takes 3 hours out of my day, which is actually kind of stupid if you think about it. I should just pay out of pocket for something here in town where he gets to play. But I just think it's ridiculous because they give you so many funds that we actually don't even use all of them. And they won't pay for a local class. I have to drive all the way out in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, so I found him something, but it's only in May, and it's basically once a week. So only 4 classes in May. They don't have soccer any other time of year, just in May. So I said, okay, whatever. We'll try it out. When we showed up, last week was our first class. My son was the only kid that showed up. And so I was disappointed because he really wanted to play with kids. He wants to make friends. And so I was like, okay, well, at least we showed up, because otherwise I would feel bad if the teacher showed up and no kids showed up at all. The instructor said, oh, only 3 kids. He said only 3 kids signed up for this class. I thought he meant like today's class, which is last week. So I thought, okay, so next week more kids will show up. But then next week came, and my son, again, was the only one in class. So I said, okay, looks like we're going to be the only ones here. So what ends up happening, if you haven't guessed yet, my son basically has been getting one-on-one lessons from this instructor. And I asked my son, like, are you okay with that? You're not, like, bored, are you, Because I know you wanted to play with kids. And he's like, no, I'm fine with it, which is cool. So today I was sitting and I was just thinking, is this a sign? Is this something God's trying to tell me? Or is this like a random occurrence? Because like I just find it really weird. To get one-on-one classes like that, you usually have to pay extra. They charge you more money if you want a one-on-one class. So I was sitting there and thinking, and I was telling my son, I was like, look, it's time for you to start really spending more time with God and start paying attention to things that happen around you and asking, like, is God trying to show me something, right? And so as I was sitting there, I got almost like a parable. I got what I saw, okay? I saw a job interview where a lot of people apply. Some are called for an interview and one is chosen. And then I heard in my head, many are called, few are chosen. So I looked that up in the Bible, and that is Matt 22:14. For many are called, but few are chosen. And I said, okay, that's interesting. What are you trying to tell us? Like, well, God, what are you trying to tell me right now? Are you calling my son to start really like ministering and paying attention to signs? Are you going to start speaking to him? Because so far, he hasn't really heard God speaking to him yet. So I don't know, but I just heard that verse, so I thought I'd share it. Maybe somebody needed to hear it. Many are called. And so when I was thinking about that verse, many are called, few are chosen. And I was thinking about like, okay, so what does that mean? Does God calls many people? Some show up. Probably not all of them show up. Some of them will show up and respond. But out of those that show up, few are chosen. So I don't know what this is about. I just thought I'd bring it up there. I'm still going to think about this and kind of seek him about it if there's any further messages about it. Just keep seeking him, especially if you've been struggling, because I definitely struggle getting anything from God. And sometimes the things that show up are so minuscule that I just think like, is that it? Can you give me something bigger? Can you give me something more obvious? But just keep seeking him, because eventually you'll start hearing him and you'll start receiving things. But also, to understand his life parables, you just have to constantly, like, you have to like turn on your eye filter, and you have to see everything like through the eyes of God, and just not always be an autopilot like we tend to be. Another thing that I thought about with the soccer thing is that I felt like my son got an upgrade. We just wanted a fun class, but he got upgraded to work one-on-one with the coach. And I just thought that was something cool. It was like almost like God saying, like, you if you just show up, because the other people showed up, the other people signed up for the class, but they never showed up. And I think it's because the way this homeschool thing works, we had to sign up months ago. And so they probably forgot about it, or they can't make it anymore. They also don't remind you. They don't send you like reminders that you have a class, whereas other schools do. I happened to put it on my calendar, so I remembered. And I absolutely do not like not showing up somewhere where I signed up. I have a lot of guilt about like not showing up to things. And if I can't make it, I will call and explain. But I am a very like, when I make a commitment, I stick to it. And I almost feel like God's also saying, if you made a commitment, you need to stick to it unless you absolutely can't make it. But like, don't just show up. Like, that's very flaky. And it was like he was saying, you signed up, even though this is way out of your way, it's 3 hours out of your way, you're also wasting gas. So technically, it's not even a free class, because you are spending gas and time away from work that you could be working. You made that commitment and you showed up, and for showing up, you have been upgraded. That's why I say, seek God with all your heart, because he will upgrade you when you least expect it. I mean, it's very interesting that it turned out that way. I forgot to share what I'm drinking. I'm drinking a black vanilla tea. With some honey. Wait, I have one more thing to share. This goes back to the plant thing that I shared a few months back in one of my other videos, where God was showing me a plant that was outgrowing its pot, and I had to separate the plant. And I believe that he was showing me that there will be a separation coming for anyone that's in a living situation that they're like unhappy with. There is going to be a separation coming. And only then will you be able to actually blossom and prosper. Like, you've been kind of choking, kind of, even like this parable talks about how some of the seeds fall and they're choked out by the thorns. I was telling my son, why would God show you something that doesn't happen immediately? Like, it may take years to happen. And he didn't quite get the answer I was looking for, but my answer would be to give you hope and to have you not worry as much and to hold on to that promise. Because sometimes we really need it, especially when we're struggling and things are getting so hard. And you're like, God, you called me to do something, but all these things are in the way. How do you expect me to do that? I see no way out of my situation in order to serve you properly. And then he shows you something, and that's just his way of saying, look, I will deliver you. I will help you, but you just need to hold on and trust that it will happen. Another thing that I would say is that I think I mentioned in one of my videos that I've been working a lot. I've been working so much, and it's been stressing me out that I have no time for anything. And one of the things that I asked God, I said, God, if you want me to actually like focus on this channel or on the other projects that he asks me to do, or he shows me to do, like I still have my online business, but I just don't put any time into it. I don't create anything new. I barely promote anything. And that was a big passion of mine when my business was active. It was like the best time of my life. And I said to God, if you want me to do this, you're going to have to open up my schedule. I literally said to God, I don't have time for YouTube. It takes time not only to create the actual video and then edit it, but to even come up with a message, because I'm so busy. I barely have time to even spend time with you to get a message from you to share. And I said, please, I need a break. I'm burning out. Like, my nervous system was shot. I was starting to get all these adrenaline symptoms, and just, I was a hot mess. And it was really affecting me. And I said, God, you need to give me a break. Like, you need to help me. Both of them are, I work at home on the computer, but I work 2 jobs. And the very next day, I didn't hear from anyone. So I just took the day off. I was like, I'm not even going to bother. I know I have a whole pile of work they did give me, but normally they tell you what to work on next. And I finished the project and they didn't tell me what to work on next. So I just waited, because they always change priority. Like, I work in the fashion industry and everything's very fast paced. So I just took the day off, and I just really needed that day off. The next day I said, hey, what do you want me to work on? Do you want me to go back to this project? And they said, take the month off. We're in between seasons. And they're like, thank you for all the work you've done. Because they gave me a lot of priority, like emergency work to do. And I did it. And so they were like, thank you so much. Take the month off. Even though that could be scary financially, I was so freaking happy, because I really need a month off. And previously, because I was working so much, I was putting money aside, because that's my job. My job is unpredictable. I don't have a salary job. It comes and goes. I get paid based on how many hours I work. And at any point, they could say, we don't need you anymore. So I've always tried to just put money aside for emergencies, or if if my car breaks down, or if I don't have much work to do. So I was just so happy to hear that. The same day that they told me, or within 24 hours that they told me, take the month off, my other job canceled a project that I was working on. And it was like 6 different designs. And they said, hey, we're canceling this entire group. Cancel. And I was just like, okay. And I just immediately was like, God, thank you. Thank you for giving me that break. Now, here's the ironic thing, okay? I did get like a few days off. Both of them still came back and gave me little things here and there to do. But for the most part, the last couple of weeks, I've just been like really letting my mind rest, letting my brain rest, and just spending more time with God and waiting for that crazy tidal wave to pick up again. So if God is calling you to do something, just ask Him to give you the tools and the time and the opportunity to do it. And it will happen when He decides it is time. He can show you something that is not yet ready to be worked on. I was having repetitive loop stories, like stories on loop in my mind for years about my testimony on how I left the New Age and how I found Jesus. That was on repeat in my brain for years before I actually came onto YouTube to do it. But that whole time I knew that I wasn't ready to do it. But I knew that I was eventually going to do it, because I felt God was calling me to do that. And then He showed me, like, it was very clear when He showed me it is time. He showed me exactly how it would look. And I had the urge to do it. So that's kind of how you know when it's time. He kind of opens the door for you. But sometimes it'll take years for that to come to fruition, whatever it is that He showed you. And again, keep your eyes open, because some of the things He'll show you, because He speaks differently to people, sometimes it's not literal. He's not just going to show you in a literal way. He'll sometimes show you things in a parable, like the plant that I saw, or the way Jesus used to speak in parables. So keep your eyes open, because He'll show you things in different ways, and it's super fun to decipher and to like really try to figure out what He's trying to show you. But it also forces you to like turn everything off and sit with Him and seek Him, because when you sit there in silence and just focus on Him, He like shows you more. So for whoever has, more will be given. Okay? So just keep seeking Him, keep focusing, and pay attention. Write stuff down. I have to write everything down. Sometimes it's just not fully obvious. Read things, pay attention to labels and things. You will see things repeating, and look those things up in the Bible. Oftentimes, he'll show me words that are from stories in the Bible, and he'll repeat them. And so exciting. It's nice to come back here. I hope I have more stuff to share soon. But thank you for those of you who watch and subscribe. And for those who leave me comments, thank you so much. Let me know how God speaks to you. I find it so fascinating. It's such a learning curve for a lot of people, and it takes such a long time sometimes. I'm not going to lie when I tell you, sometimes I am jealous of people who just get very clear, audible voice and full blown dreams and visions. And I would love that, but that's just not how he talks to everybody. So, yeah, let me know what your story is about that. And seek him with all your heart and soul, and he will reveal himself to you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.